see. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Leeward Carlton Show. We are here for Women Rising, episode 2. So we're gonna allow some people to come in and see what we got going on, and we'll get started shortly. So I'm actually excited about our panel today, and it's going to be great. I think the topic of discussion that we have today is going to be on structure and is it for you? Um, Pretty much just getting everybody's kind of like feedback on it. So let's see what we have in store to you today. I am Alejandrina Billings, um, or you can call me Ali for short because I know sometimes rolling those R's can be a little difficult. But I want to welcome everybody to the show. I'm originally from Chicago, but we live here in beautiful AZ, enjoying this warmth until it gets hot for the summer. And I would love to welcome our panel. So, again, the topic of discussion for today is going to be on structure. Is it for you? And I do want to start off with a quote, and it says, "The structure of language determines not only thought, but really reality in itself." So, for the first person that we're going to bring on is going to be my lovely colleague. Her name is Awilda, and she is a dedicated professional with a diverse background. She was in the service for 10 years and followed by 20 years in the service and as in the police department. So, without further ado, I don't want to take all of her glory. Can you please welcome Awilda?
Hi, Allie. How are you?
Good, good. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, just like you said, I did 10 years in the military. After that, I transitioned into law enforcement, originally from New Jersey. Retired with 20 years. I'm in Texas now. I'm a five, so I'm very busy.
I can only imagine so. I just have two. And yeah, I believe that 100%. So welcome to the show. This is a Wilda's first time. So
Yes, it is.
we're gonna get some awesome feedback off you. So next we have on our amazing panel. She was on our episode 1 and is Miss Savita. So she was also in the service, and she's originally out of Florida, and she's also the founder of Financially Savvy. So Savita, if we can welcome you in. Where is she at? Technical difficulties. Hold on 1 second.
She said she's connecting, so I guess she was having some connection issues.
Okay, no worries. So this is what we'll do. So while we're waiting for Savita, we'll go into our other lovely New Yorker in the house is Miss Vanita. Vanita is also a licensed life accident and health agent. She's also one of our colleagues, and she's also in partnership with us. And yeah, she's also a mother, a mentor, and let's go ahead and welcome Vanita.
Hey, ladies.
Hello, hello. Vanita was also on episode 1. So just in case if you guys had missed our first time, go ahead, Vanita, give us a little bit of your background.
I've been in financial industry for about 9 years, and I'm a mom of 4, and really just trying to empower women and get them, where they need to be. I'm here for it.
Love it.
In
Love
the
it.
car right now. I'm in Alabama. So let's talk about structure, because
Let's
in
get
my
to
world,
it.
sometimes it doesn't work, but let's do it.
Awesome, awesome. All right. Well, let's see if we can get Savita in here. Let's see if we can try to get her reconnected. Let's see. All right. So she's still pending. So we have actually one more that we can go ahead and grab her in. She's also a colleague and a wonderful mother. She is a nurse and she also is here in the state of Arizona. If we can welcome in Jenna. Where are you, my love?
Hello, hello.
There she
It's
is.
been a little crazy week this week. Let me tell you, ladies. Let me tell you, I was rolling in hot with doctor's appointment and sick child. It's just a nuts, crazy time. But I'm excited to talk and to hang out with all of you guys.
Awesome. Let's get this venting on and going. So let's see. Let me get one more second. All right, let's see if we can try to get Savita in one more time. If not, Savita, come in when you can.
There she is.
Love technology, ladies, right?
We don't panic, we pivot.
Love it, love it, love it. This is awesome, guys. I'm so excited. So again, Savita, so give us a little bit of your background as well. I introduced you a little bit, but give us a little bit more of your background.
Yes. Hello, my beautiful people. I am Savita Brooks from a small town in South Carolina. Left home, joined the military, got married, had a kid, got divorced. Now I'm here, changing the world. No, but seriously, I went through a tumultuous divorce, and I didn't have everything that I needed in place financially, and I made a couple of mistakes, and it's been a while since I've been divorced, but I am still paying the price for those mistakes that I made. So what I do is I help you not make the same mistakes that I did.
Awesome. Love it, love it. So let's get right into it, guys. So like I said, topic of discussion is structure. So we have our lovely vets on here as well as a nurse. And Vanita, love you, boo. My twin and him. So obviously, just even looking at our backgrounds and things like that, I feel like we all have a different way of how we view structure. So well, first and foremost, is it for you? Let's start off with that.
I can go ahead on this. Being the type A personality, structure is very, very important to me, and I tend to struggle when I go off key. Though being a mom, I think you kind of have to adapt no matter what. I still really like to be structured. I like to have things align. I like to have my checklist. I mean, girl, I'd check off sex if I had to. I'd be like, check, that's done, got that out of the way. Okay, next. No joke, let's be real. I mean, I literally have my checklist for everything. And it's mainly because we live busy lives, and, realistically, things don't get done if they're not planned for. So for me, it's like I live by it. I have to have some of that structure in my life. I have to have things set up, a certain way. Not saying that I can't adapt, but it does take some time to switch gears if that's the case. So I am all for structure for myself. That is a big thing for me.
I'm going to add a little bit to that. With having kids and them being so active with sports and extracurricular activities, I need that structure. My calendar, I need to, and I mean, also being in the military didn't help the fact that I need to know how my whole entire day is going to be. Does it always work out that way? Absolutely not, right? Especially when we have kids. But as much control as I can possibly have on my schedule, you best to believe it, I'm going to have it.
So I would say structure. I used to be type A. I used to be very OCD. It used to stress me out when I wasn't where I needed to be when I needed to be, and I had to learn that it's okay. It's okay not to be there. It's okay not to show up. It's okay to have different environments. I mean, I'm in the car right now in Alabama in the streets trying to make some money. So structure sometimes just doesn't work. And when you have 4 kids and when you're here and you're being pulled there and you're being pulled in a million different directions, you kind of just have to let go and surrender to the flow. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm here though.
I love that. After being in the military, we had to deal with a lot of structure. So once I got out, that really didn't work for everybody else around me. So that's why I think everybody needs to do at least one tour in the military to pick up that discipline. So I sometimes joke and I call myself borderline self-diagnosed ADHD, and then I freak out when things don't go the way that they're supposed to go. So I have learned to have structure, but then there's that balance because some things don't work out the way that you think they should. So I have learned how to just go with the flow sometimes, and I like spontaneity too. So that helps with the creativity. So,
do you ladies feel like because of structure? I feel like we all being titled mom, and work, and if we have spouses and mates and all that other things, do you feel like it was a hard transition to get out of that kind of like structured building and get into like a fluid or kind of like a fluidity of dealing, or like Savita, you said, we don't panic, we pivot. Do you feel like that was a hard transition?
Well, I'll say for me, I kind of was like pushed into it. So when I got sick back in April 2022, and it was something that I had to do, and I really didn't have a choice. So I kind of just, like I said, just went with the flow. It was hard at first. The transitioning is difficult when people are looking at you and expecting you to be a certain, especially as women, like we're expected to live up to this persona and this, role model. And if we aren't, then are we being judged? Then you have to think about that. Like, what are people thinking about us? What am I doing the right thing? Sometimes you just have to take a step back and be like, you know what, it's not for everybody. I have to do what's best for me.
Mm-hmm. Next. Oh, Wilda, since you got muted.
Yeah, I have myself on mute. So I have to say, again, I was very structured. The military didn't help. The police academy didn't help. The fact that, everything had to go a certain way. But I got to say, when COVID happened and, the whole world shut down, and I still had to go to work and there wasn't a lot of people like out and about, I kind of like took a step back, and I sat back and I'm like, so this whole like you gotta move, go that's not what it's all about, right? So it did kind of mellow me down a little bit, as far as I wasn't as strict when it came to my calendar, when it came to being in events. Like Vanita said earlier, there were times that I felt like I couldn't say no, to an event or whatever the case. And, after COVID, no became a lot easier for me to say. So that was kind of cool.
A new, different type of empowerment.
Seriously.
It's crazy because, I still think that there's a lot of me that's still trying to adapt to not being as structured when things come. But, along with what Awilda's saying, I think Nikki Brooks posted as well, like COVID was a game changer. It's crazy because as a nurse and as a workaholic and a type A personality, I was always go, go, go. And I didn't really think about it. I never really thought like people would say, like, how do you do what you do? How do you get up so early? And how do you work out and have a job and take care of your kids and go to the games and do all these things? Like, aren't you burnt out? I'm like, I don't have time to be burnt out. What are you talking about? The only thing that burns me out is when I get sick. But COVID was a game changer because for me, at least, COVID changed my entire perspective. Like I literally went from being such a workaholic to being like, I need to value the people in my life. I need to appreciate and be grateful for what I do have and be grateful for the people around me. Because even though I knew that, okay, I have family and friends that were close, I wasn't taking advantage of the real time that I had with them. And, I really, really was working my life away. And though all of us have to have jobs, all of us have to make an income, at the same time, it's not our everything, and it's really not. It's not everything that it's meant out to be. And I don't think that God created us to have work be our entire thing that we do. We're meant and placed on this earth to build relationships and have fellowship and build a community. And sometimes part of that is becoming unstructured and adapting to those changes in life so that you can, obviously still have some of the structure that you need to have, but at the same time, having the discipline and having the ability to be able to become unstructured so that you can step outside those boxes and really be grateful and enjoy everything that is happening moment by moment around you.
Factuals. Savita?
Wow, I love that, Jenna. That was beautiful, Jenna. And I think one of my favorite scriptures is Matthew 6:33. It says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things should be added unto you. Because I think a lot of times we just go, and go because that's what we've been taught to do. And I heard somebody say today, we've been taught incorrectly that that's not really how it works. I'm like, okay, so I tell myself all the time, I don't hustle. I attract. And that ease, it makes things so much easier. But like I said, being in the military, they do give you that structure. So it was like when I got out, I'm like, okay, cool. I can wear my hair the way I want to wear it. I can do my nails the way I want to do. I can sleep late. And it's just having that balance. So it works for me. And it wasn't a hard transition because it seems like my life, you just roll with the punches.
Panicking, not pivoting. I love that's going to be the quote for today. Panicking, not pivoting. Not panicking, but pivoting. So like when it really boils down to it, just as a generality, like we all have children and things like that. Do you feel like based off of your own personal experience and how your mind views structure, what are like some points that you will feel that you are implementing with your kids, whether it's something that you're passing on or something where like, you know what, this might be a little too much or I went too far with it, so I'm not going to do that. So kind of like what do you guys feel that is kind of like the pros and cons of having like the mentality that you have with structure?
I'm going to go first on this one. And the reason is because I literally just had this conversation with one of my older daughters. She's currently in Boston in law school. And she actually said, Mom, I just want to thank you for always pushing for us to have some type of structure with our day. And it just goes because she gets up at 6 o'clock in the morning, she gets ready for class and she's literally in class till 3 in the afternoon. And then she goes to the library and she studies. And she told me today, she's like, if it wasn't because that's what I knew, because that's how, we grew up. She's like, I don't know if I would be doing as good as I'm doing in law school right now. So I kind of took that as a little, pat on the back that, at least one out of my 5 children actually stuck to my structure.
Hey, 1 out of anything is great. Okay.
My kids are young, so they're still learning. I mean, my 13-year-old, he's a boy. He's the firstborn, and I think that he still has not adapted to anything that I've taught him, to be quite honest. My youngest is 3. It's funny though, because actually I was just telling them the other day, because of how I was raised, and you had to get A's, and I went to school and had to get straight A's and all that good stuff. With him, I'm like, look at buddy, so you get degrees, just pass. Just pass. Let's get through the day. Okay. But yeah, I mean, for myself, it's just really just in trying to instill a routine. I think is the biggest thing with the kids, so that they can learn their own routine, how they, adjust to certain things. And then also, when it comes to when things go outside their routine, how they react. Okay. And the biggest thing with that, is obviously our reactions. Life happens, but how we react to things is going to play a big part in our lives. And it's really going to structure, what's happening around us, even with the relationships around us. It's almost like, you could be having a really good day, and then maybe, your spouse comes home and he had a really bad day, or she had a really bad day, and it changes the entire atmosphere, the entire mood of a household. And so, I try to teach my kids, to not react to things, to kind of, take some time and, evaluate the situation, or talk through a situation, whether it be with a friend or family member or myself, to be able to not have that blow up reaction. And so that way they are a little more structured in the way that they react to things as well. But I haven't seen so much of a change yet. We're getting there.
Absolutely. Yeah, look, mine are small too. That what are they? They're 10 and 8. So my son's the same way. He kind of follows mommy's footsteps. He's a little bit more, he has to be structured, and like everything is in its order, 1 through 10, like all that stuff. And my daughter is more of the fluid one. She's more on my cons list with stuff. She's just like, I love everything everywhere. And it's like, how do you live like this? But it's true. Like, especially having multiples, they pick and choose from what they see and what gravitates to them. So it's funny you say that, because I feel it's the same way. And I do feel like even with your little one, I feel like she's already picking up on things. I've noticed that she's been picking up on things, even if we are not even paying attention, that we don't even think that they're watching, but they're watching. They're looking at every little thing that we're doing. So yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. Savita.
I am going to say, pay attention to what you're doing, because they will embarrass you. But the best feeling ever is when your child says, "Hey, I wanna thank you for what you have done for me," because it is such an accomplishment to raise a productive citizen.
It is. Like,
And
we don't get no structure. Can we get a structured book for mothering? This would be great.
Listen,
you're like, I did that. But I'm telling you, with the first kid, it's like, for me, I had no idea what I was doing. It was by the grace of God that I did not kill my son, because I had no business being a mother. I had no business being a wife, but he turned out really good. But the thing about it is, for me, I always told him to embrace who he was as a person. And you know how you have that deep inner feeling, okay, this is not right. I'm like, you really need to listen to that, because that is your compass. And I really love that, because I didn't have that growing up. I had to be a certain way. And yeah, I was a tomboy, and I like to fight and all that other stuff. So, but it's just having that.
We're all in that same group. So you're not alone.
Like, I had to fight all my life, Hoppo.
All my life.
But yeah, but yeah, but that is the greatest feeling when your children say, "Hey, you did a good job. I appreciate all the sacrifice and all the hard work that you have done." So, but yeah, and they are watching.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Vanita.
Okay, so everyone and their mother is calling me right now, and they all know I'm live. So either that's a sign to get off or to keep going. So I'm just going to keep going. So I would have to say, My firstborn and I were just having this conversation the other day because he is like me all day. Very, detailed, very structured, very, if something goes off course, he gets nervous. He gets, a little, he can't find the balance or redirection if he is not, you know, going for exactly what is planned. My other three kids are more like go with the flow. So I would have to say, um, I'm the firstborn. I feel like your firstborn is always a replicant of you. And you kind of like have to pick and choose your battles and where you're going after that. Like, I feel bad that, like, the older I get, the more non-structured I am. I kind of just go with the flow at this point. If I'm there, I'm there. If I'm not, I'm not. And I'm trying to instill that in him. Like, it's okay. It's okay if you don't show up. It's okay if you're 5 minutes late. It's okay if you're not feeling good. It's okay if you're in the car and can you guys even see me right now? Like, it's okay. It's okay to not be in the public eye perfect. I think structure and perfect might be in the same category because none of us are perfect. And for us to try and portray a perfect image, that's never going to happen. Do you know what I mean? So I wish, knowing what I know now, then, raising him alone, I could have changed the way I was then, because now I'm trying to break that. I'm trying to break what I've done. I'm trying to break that generational curse. I'm trying to break that image that he's trying now to walk into my footsteps when I've changed. I've changed my whole, between spirituality and between, my whole being of who I am. I've completely changed, but he's 21, so, he'll get there. But yeah, I think my other three pretty much are going to have it a lot easier than what he did.
I feel like as well as being the oldest, like our parents should apologize to their older sibling, their oldest child, because we were the beta kids. They didn't know what to do. So we were kind of like, well, you didn't break. So I guess this will work for the next. And I'm going to do that with my son as well. So, just saying. But, it's very true because at the end of the day, we didn't get a manual. I mean, they tried. I mean, I feel like we all got that what to expect when expecting. That book be lying, but it's just like they don't tell you the other stuff that happens. It's just like with anything. It's not set in stone. It's not a cookie cutter thing. We all have, it's a template. It's just like, okay, you can try it this way, but you're gonna get a little ink on this side, you're gonna get a little cookie dough over here. You might like chocolate chip, others might like oatmeal, trust issues from a very young age. But it happens, and it's unfortunate because it is, I will say, it is unfortunate for the oldest when we're trying to figure it out. We have in our relationships during that time frame, I feel like we got to figure, because it's a new chapter. When you're with BD or hubby or whoever, when you have your first baby, it's kind of like, hey, we're no longer in party mode. Now we got to sit at home, and it's like, why? I still want to do this, but we can't. What do we do? All right. If it comes to a situation where, we end up being on our own, okay, now where the baby doesn't get as enough time as we need with them to do what we have to do and to not be on the streets, and things like that. So, yeah, I definitely feel like it's a rough thing. And honestly, structure can be a blessing and it can also be a curse, because it's like, what structure are we following? Are we following structure from, older traditions of like, okay, like in my family, we have abuelas and abuelitos and tias and tios and all that stuff. And not all of them, coming to find out, know what the heck they're doing. Now that I'm the, mom and the tia and uncle, is just like, okay, are we following their structure? Or are we creating our own? I did say baby. But, it's like it's kind of like we need both, in my opinion. We need to have structure, but to the point of as a guideline, we need it to be able to be fluid, because I do feel like that's where breaking the generational curse comes from. You're breaking that structure that at one time could have worked, or maybe for that household at that moment worked. But hey, we're in 2024. Best believe in my household in 1990 is nowhere near what my household is at this point in 2024. And best believe my parents look at me like, how do you do it? I'm like, I don't know, still figuring it out. So I feel like that goes just across the board, you know, when it comes down to it, for sure. So with that being said, I feel like when I was originally thinking or kind of like brainstorming on this topic, it kind of brought me to, it kind of segued over into our business. We all are licensed agents when it comes to life and health, and we've come across many different people that not only don't know about the business, but we are in a situation where as a unit, we're able to bring people along with us if they are willing to accept that challenge, so to speak, because I do feel like not this business is not for everyone. So with that being said, do you ladies feel that when it comes to becoming that boss mom and, you know, being able to handle multiple things, is it hard to bring either friends or family or associates into this business? And is it hard for you to level up without those companions?
All right, that's a tough one. So I guess I'll go first for a little bit. I'm gonna say me personally, right? At the end of the day, is that new business partner that you're bringing on board, what are their goals? You know, what is their objective as far as what do they want to get out of the business? And you know, if all they want is whether it's, you know, to make a certain amount of income or whatever the case may be, then you kind of have to treat them that way. Um, but you know, I would say for me, at the end of the day, you know, we all are independent agents. We all are running our own business. I would love to take everyone to the top, but not everyone is going to want to go to the top. So I don't think as a business owner and obviously trying to provide for my family, I should limit myself because I have someone that doesn't want to go to the top with me. So I would say just meet them where they're at, meet them where they want to be. And, you know, I'm here for the support. But baby, if you're not ready to go to the top with me, let me know when you are and I'll pull you up there.
Love that.
Love it. I love it. I love it. I agree. I agree completely. You know, the hardest part about being a business owner is, I think, at least for myself, and I think as a woman, I think all of us probably may share the same idea here, is that we want everyone to win. So like when I have somebody that wants to come on board and to do this with me, I'm super excited for them. And, you know, along with getting their goals, like I feel like I need to be there to like push them and motivate them and get them to where they're supposed to be. And like what Awilda was saying, you know, you got to meet them where they're at, but sometimes they tell you your goals and you're like, well, you're not really doing what you're supposed to be doing. Like, let's go. And I think sometimes I get to the point where I want this more than they do. And I have to kind of take a step back and say, this is their road. This is their journey. And then just remind them, hey, these are your goals. This is what you told me you want. Are we still on the same page? Or are you know, you're wanting something different? And that's okay. And that's, you know, that's a completely okay. But to make sure that you're not over pushing, because I know that in the past I have done that because I want so bad for my teammates, whether it's a friend or a family member that's on my team or someone I just barely met. I'm super excited and motivated them to get them to where they want to be. And sometimes I know that myself, I tend to overdo it where I'm like, all right, let's go. This is where you want to get. You want to make let's just say we want to help one family, let's do this. And, and whether it's one family, they want to help 10 families or whatever their goal is, I get super excited and want to do whatever I can to get them to reach that goal and for them to feel successful. Because a lot of times, and being an entrepreneur and a business owner, if you don't reach those goals, you kind of sometimes can get down on yourself. You're kind of like, oh man, I didn't hit my goals this month. Because when you go to a job and you clock in, clock out, you did your job. You clocked in, clocked out, you did your work. Even as a nurse, I go in, I do my work, I do my job, start some IVs, whatever the case may be, poke some people, and then I leave, but I still got paid. Sometimes as an entrepreneur and a business owner, you may do your job and do everything you're supposed to be doing. You necessarily didn't make the paycheck yet. Okay. So it is definitely one of those things where you do need that constant motivation and that constant community, people to surround yourself that are like-minded to be able to lift you up. And so that's a big thing for me. That is definitely a loaded question though, Allie. It's a tough
one. You guys are welcome.
Still love you.
Yeah, Jenna, I was thinking the same thing. That is a loaded question. For me, I have people that are, they watch, but it's not for everybody. Like my brothers are doctors and I think they'd be amazing at this, but they haven't seen it yet. So I just love on them. And what I want is for people to dream again, because I know when I was working where I was working, like I had a master's degree, but I was only able to find a job as a assistant, a secretary. I worked at Disney as a project assistant. Now that was a pretty cool job, but not everybody sees themselves being an entrepreneur. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. However, I think you'd be great. You should come check it out. So like I said, I just drip on people and try to make them realize that you deserve more.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Do you ladies feel
and the
like
environment here? I just
No,
so I was just saying the environment here. I'm like the women here is just so uplifting, and I don't think I have ever had that before because somebody's like, "Well, you're intimidating because you're in the military." I'm like, I'm not intimidating. I'm like, not like so. But I think people deserve more, especially as women, because we work hard, and the pay gap, gender gap and all of that, the pay gap and all of that crazy stuff. It's like, come join us.
Mm-hmm.
That's
do you
my
guys
invite.
feel like it's hard to, I guess, like pivot or segue when you do come across kind of like the negative speech and things like that, where it's kind of like you have a dream, you have a journey, or you see the vision, and the person that you're kind of like inviting them to that dream or to that vision, do you feel like it's hard to pivot from that or try to help them see like where they're coming, where kind of like where you see your vision?
I don't. Yeah, I think in this business and just as an entrepreneur, you have to grow thick skin. In the beginning, I think as you're starting out, because you want everyone to see it and you want your family to come on board or to, at least support you. And my family's been great, but I've heard stories of other families, not supporting, the person that, their loved one or whatnot. And that's tough. It's super tough when you have your own brother, sister, mom, dad, that's almost putting you down for being different, for starting something new or being different, going outside of our norm, the normal 9-to-5 job. So it can be tough, and it's definitely something that I've grown into, but I know in the beginning it was a struggle, but now I'm like, sometimes I'm like, all right, maybe it's not for you. Or I'm like, you know what, just jump on the Zoom, come meet some people or come see what the environment's like. And if they're like, nah, I'm good, then I'm like, okay, like I just kind of blow it off, because here's the thing, you don't want to convince people to want to be here. And that's something with any job or any business, really. I mean, if I used to be a nurse manager, okay? If I had to convince the nurses like, oh, like this place is awesome, you're gonna love it here, and they're like, nah, I'm like, okay, bye. Like, like I am not gonna convince them to try to want to be at this hospital. We're like, you came to me, remember that? You came here. Like, I'm interviewing you. And it's the same thing. I mean, when we sit down with, a certain family member or client, we're not just, obviously presenting, different solutions to help their family, but we're consciously interviewing the person to be like, hey, this might be something for you, because we're also looking to make sure, are you going to be a good fit for us, a good fit for our culture, for our team? Because if someone's just negative Nancy, of course I want to love on them and I want to try to help them see a different light, because a world of negativity is rough, and they need that love. But at the same time, it brings a team down. So for me, if someone's having to try to convince someone, I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll keep loving on you, and I'll keep, showing what I show. But at the same time, like, tell me when you're ready. I'm not in the convincing business anymore.
Agreed. Love that. So I will say this, kind of like another segue, because I love to pivot, guys. I like to get into the minds of things. So because of that, I feel like the world in itself, especially where it's going, it's very negative. You can go on social media, you can go on the news. Like, honestly, I don't watch the news. I get a lot of my information from like other people. Like, did you hear what was on it? Or I just see our posts on Instagram. I'm like, oh my gosh, like there's so many jobs that people are losing. Let's help them out, like whatever. But it's because there's a lot. It's like 80% negativity at this point. So that goes into where now that we're all adults and we have kids and, we're going through all of these different emotions and changes in life and things. I feel like, especially now, there's a lot of, I guess you can say like sensitivity in the world where everybody gets offended. There's trigger words where it's just like, oh my gosh, how dare you, type situations. But pivoting and like flipping that table, do you feel like there is triggers, but in a positive sense? So when I say that, I mean, like, for example, when you think of fire in a negative sense, yep, they can burn. Look what happened in Texas a couple weeks ago. A whole city had to be evacuated and things like that. That was a negative thing. That's why we have the fire department. We have all these other things, wildfires, all that stuff. That's a negative thing about fires. However, you also need fire to light a candle, make your house smell great, have firecrackers go off and things like that. So when you think of a trigger, what would you say is your positive trigger in life as a mom, as a spouse, as, a business owner? Like, what do you feel are your positive triggers?
Wow, Allie, you are just full of surprises today, aren't you?
Yay.
I don't know if I would say that it's a trigger or not, but something that someone might take for granted to me means, it's a huge deal. And it's a simple thank you. Like literally just a simple like, hey mom, thanks for, X, Y, and Z. Because at the end of the day, right, and it kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier, we weren't giving a handbook on how to become a parent. You just kind of wing it and you hope for the best. And, like Savita said, you hope that you're, bringing up individuals that are going to have some type of positive outcome in society. And I've actually told this to my adult 3 children. My oldest, I tell her all the time, like, yeah, dude, like I grew up with you, like I was a kid myself. And it's funny because my oldest is 24, and then the one that follows after that is 22, and they're both girls. And they asked me, they're like, Mom, how old were you? And they did the math, and they're like, oh my gosh, Mom, you were our age and you were a mom. Like we can't even think about that right now. And it's just, obviously, the times were different. But to me, it's a simple thank you. Goes a long way.
Love that.
I have to agree with that. And the reason why I think that's so big for me is when you're constantly doing things, you just do them. You just, like if the house needs cleaned, you just do it. You might grunt about it and be like, oh, gotta do laundry. I gotta clean the dishes. I gotta cook. I gotta go grocery shopping. We might, that'd be disgruntled a little bit about it, but we do it anyways. And, a lot of times we're not getting the, hey, thanks for doing my laundry, mom. Those little things. But even as a nurse, a lot of times when, I'm going through my day, I just do what I'm supposed to do as a nurse. And not that many people, though there's some, not that many people, say thank you. But when they do, it's crazy because it's almost like, why are you thanking me? They're like, you've been great. You've been like so awesome and so caring. I'm like, that's what I'm supposed to do. Like, that's my job. Like, I'm supposed to care for you. I'm supposed to help you and teach you and spend time with you, the time that maybe the doctors didn't spend with you. That's my job. And so it's almost like, if you hear my daughter screaming, I'm really sorry. Screaming in the background. But it's just something that, like, it's almost like, whoa, wow, like, I am appreciated. And people do see that, the care that I'm giving is appreciated. And it's something that's not being taken lightly, where I'm just sitting here doing my job, or even at home doing my job. So when they do say, hey, thanks, mom, or hey, thanks, you've done a great job, or, in our financial business, when someone, I may take care of someone and they might say thanks, but when they really come back and they say, hey, you know what, like, this is literally changing my life. I had a nurse that, I put through some student loan forgiveness, and she's like, you have no idea how this is going to change my life. And to my mind, I'm like, yeah, I do, because, we sat down and we're going over everything. But to her, I mean, it's crazy. She's like, thank you so much for helping me and bringing this to me, and, helping me get through this situation. And so, those little thank yous, and I would say a smile too. A smile goes a long way. Like, you can be in a bad mood and, you smile at someone and it does put a light in your face. I know that sounds corny and, whatnot, but it is. It's a simple thing that anybody can do. And, not just, but a genuine smile, guys, like a genuine smile. Like, hey, I see you, I respect you, I care for you. It's just huge. And I'm sorry to kind of steal that, Wilda, but I do. I think that's a big thing. And it's something that, like, I pay attention to that when even some of my patients, they'll like try to hug me and kiss me. I'm like, whoa. Thank you enough.
You're in here for COVID. Don't touch.
I don't need to kiss. Okay? We just got over COVID, remember?
6 feet.
Right, exactly. But yes, I think that it does go a long way.
Absolutely. Savita?
That is funny, Jenna, but I can definitely relate. For me, it's just I walk a lot, so I speak to everybody, and my son always like, you need to stop talking to people. I'm like, but I'm from South Carolina, so I'm just naturally friendly. And but it's funny because my mom's total opposite. We were laughing about that today. I was like, you just mean for no reason. but that's just her. And it's just like just saying hi to people. Hey, how you doing? Just a smile or anything, because you never know what people are going through. And I remember one time I just smiled at somebody and they were like, I really needed that. And that was priceless to me, just to be able to know that I could just smile at somebody and say, hey, just have a normal conversation, and it be positive, because like I said, you never know what somebody's going through. And the negative stuff, and I don't even want to say it's negative, it's just their perception of everything. Because I had somebody I know that was homeless, and she was complaining about the house, and I'm like, well, how's that working for you? You're not homeless anymore. So it's just I think sometimes people are more focused on themselves instead of other people. So that's something that I try to do, try to make other people feel good, because I'm alive. I'm awake. I'm feeling good. My mom she's going through some stuff. So she called me today. That made me feel good, because my mom, she doesn't call me that often. She was like, well, thank you for the phone call. I lit up. So just little stuff like that. And it's free 99. You can't beat that, right?
Factual.
Isn't it crazy? Sorry. Isn't it crazy that, we've put out a little bit of care and a little bit of concern towards someone, and it can change their entire day? I mean, to me, that's insane. Like that, you can literally change someone's entire day by reaching out and saying, hey, I'm just thinking about you. A simple little message, even to say, hey, I'm just thinking about you. it can change someone's entire day, or even enlighten them to be like, hey, I want to talk to you because I need to unload on something, or I need to vent, or just, thank you for reaching out. Thank you for thinking of me. It's just the small things. I really do think so.
No, 100%. And I feel like even when it, like you guys mentioned, like even with the kids and stuff, small stuff, like my kids are like, if they go to traditional schools, they're there for what, 8 hours, like a job, they're training them early, right? And they'll like every day, we might be tired. Like I do the parent pickup line and stuff like that. They're like, mommy, mommy, mommy. Oh my God, mommy, we drew this for you in art class today. I'm like, okay, that's great. Blah, blah, blah. But in hindsight, I'm like, well, you know what? I'd rather deal with those conversations than having to deal with, like in a negative sense where it's just like, oh man, like in hindsight, my kids are actually thinking about me today. My kids are actually there honoring us by like, look at this I'm doing this because it's going to make them proud or whatever the routine is, that comes down to it. And I know, when it comes to like I always feel like there's things that happen for a reason. I do believe in that 100%, especially as the older that I'm getting and the more involved that I am with the business and just being out and about. And that's what I will say this about the business side, especially after COVID COVID period, definitely became way more of an introvert, whether you guys believe me or not. I definitely became more of an introvert where I'm just like, you know what? Screw the world. Screw people. It's just about me and mine. I don't care anymore. Like it was just like, it was a depressive state, but then coming out and doing this, even with, our favorite Beauvais, where it's just like, I'm like, no, I don't want to do videos. No, I don't want to go out and talk to people and blah, blah, blah. But just a little by little, and the changes and just the one, oh, you know what? I'm just reaching out just to say hi. You're on my mind. It completely changes, even for me being the person that's reaching out, because like you mentioned, even on the other end, you never know who you're getting in contact with or why. Well, why did your name come up when we had this conversation? Why are you on my mind? Because I saw this part of a commercial or a TV show or a song came on or whatever. And it's just kind of like, I feel like that, I guess you could say Holy Spirit, kind of brings people together in those moments. And it uplifts you, whether you're the person doing the uplifting and not knowing that you were doing the uplifting, or the person receiving it, where it's just like, you know what, man, yeah, mom, I did need that call today. Thank you, for thinking of me. Like, oh man, thanks for buying me those tacos, mom. That was great. Whatever boils down to it, where it's just like, it's like you guys mentioned, it's the small things that make a huge difference. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. It doesn't have to a million flowers at the front door, even though it will be nice, husband, if you're watching. But it's one of those where it's like, it is the small things. You can have it, where it's just like, I'm the meme. If, in my text messaging and things like that, I'm the GIF girl. Because I feel like sometimes words are not enough. Sometimes it's just a minute, just a small little thing where it's just like, I'm goofy. I'll send random stuff and it's just like, I have no idea what this means, but it put a smile on my face. It made me laugh. I was about to go whoop my kids, and now I don't have to do it because I'm in a better mood, So yeah, I 100% agree with you guys. And it's just funny because I do feel like with a platform like this, Leroy, I definitely want to say thank you to you, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. I saw that earlier. We lost Vanita earlier, but we'll get her back on. On our next episode and things like that. But I feel like having a platform like this where we have women, especially for us right now, it's hard for us to find a platform where it's all of us. Sorry for segueing back into business, but even on business end, if we look at our hierarchies or our people that we're looking up to, it's all men. And then we have our beautiful woman leader there, and it's just like, man, one day it can be more than just her. It can be all of us. We have a platform now. We're getting that structure. We're getting that building. We're getting that empowerment for all of us to be together and to grow and to like really set an example, not only for us and our colleagues and the people that we grew up with and things like that, but also for our daughters and their daughters and their daughters, and go on and so forth and things like that, where it's just like, it's hard for us to find a platform where we're not supposed to be at each other's throats, you know, where we can actually come together, show love, and be like, hey, we are all different, but we all have the same inspiration, and it's to do better.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I would say for the people that are on here that are listening, you know, maybe throw in the comments, like, if there's a topic that you want us to bring up or discuss, maybe something you're struggling with or something that you maybe need some insight on, to throw it in there. Because, you know, we always love to get ideas from, you know, people that are on here to, you know, talk about certain things. Because a lot of times as women, because we do want to do it all, you know, we don't share the struggles, and realistically, we are all in the same boat. Most of us struggle with the same thing. It might be just a different, you know, season or a different, you know, different way that we dealt with things, but we all have been through different scenarios that are very similar. And, you know, those hearing how other people handle, you know, a certain situation, or, you know, how they got through maybe a situation, can be very inspiring. And it can also, you know, maybe help you whatever journey that you're currently achieving or trying to achieve at this point right now.
Agreed. Do you
And we
ladies
love
have
you,
any?
Leroy.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Leroy. Do you guys have any kind of like last thoughts, comments, like, you know, in regards to like how everything, you know, came to part today, for this segment?
I'll kind of say something, and it just kind of goes a little bit with what Jenna said. You know, your testimony can be someone else's almost like freedom for them to say, like, oh my gosh, you know, like they're kind of, you know, they went through what I'm going through, and look, they were able to, you know, kind of come out of it, and they look like they're doing pretty good. I am grateful to be here with you powerful women. So thank you, Leroy, for inviting me to the panel. This was fun. I'm not going to lie. I was very nervous. I am not a talker. I am a true introvert at heart. I think I haven't smiled this much in who knows how long. And, you know, like for those people that know me, like I'm not the smiling type. So thank you for pushing me, ladies. Thank you for taking me out of my comfort zone. And Allie, thank you so much for the amazing questions that you asked today.
You're welcome, and there's more to come. Just let me kind of like infuse myself. Savita.
I just want to say thank you, Leroy. Even though you didn't get our theme song to play, it was pretty nice. And I always love this because I think a lot of times women think you have to be a certain size or look a certain way or whatever. But my thing, just be unapologetically you. Unless you're like one of those people that aren't nice, don't do that. You have to be, you know,
they don't
loving
matter.
and kind and all that good stuff, because it helps. It really does, especially in the world that we're living in. Because I remember the other day, somebody's like, "You're not from here, are you?" And I was like, "Nope." And I was like, "How can you tell?" It's because you're happy. I'm like, "You're alive. Shouldn't you be happy?" So it's just your perspective. So I challenge everybody, just be grateful, you know. And I'm grateful to be here with you ladies because, yeah, I was tired and I want to do this no more. And the atmosphere and just the positivity and all of that stuff, it really does make such a difference. And we genuinely love being around each other, and you know, we text and have fun and all this other stuff. And yes, Awilda, I'm gonna make you laugh.
Now it's time for one margarita.
It is Tuesday. We all know what that means. Well, I want to thank everybody that joins in. I appreciate, you know, all the love that we were getting in the comments and the likes and things of that nature. Ladies, I 100% appreciate you guys being on here. We all had our battles to try to get on here. So we talked about behind scenes, but even more so the fact that we were still able to make it. Savita, I told you that was going to be our hashtag for this. We don't panic, we pivot. So it's awesome, guys. And I love you guys. I love you all. So I'm going to continue with the GIFs. We're going to continue on and try to bring more empowerment to women and continue rising as pun intended, as we're trying to do here in life. So love you guys. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. I know East Coast, it's bedtime. So enjoy that, and we'll see you guys next episode.